weed whacking might be one of the easiest things that a person can do. However, there is an art to it, and if you want to know some tips and tricks, just like some of the pros, well then watch this video. I'm going to give you a few tips and techniques. However, the first one is really just a give me, and that is to wear your PPE, your protective equipment, whether that's eyewear, hearing protection, or just covered yourself in clothing. Now, I'm probably the biggest perpetrator. You'll see me out there, especially when I'm lazy, is with shorts and flip-flops. And I will tell you that I will end up with grass and freaking cuts all over my legs. But this thing actually spins pretty quickly and can get something in your eye and really hurt you. So protect yourself. All right, so I'm going to try to put to bed the order of operation. Some may say that you should trim before you mow, and others will say, oh, you have to mow before you trim. Now, I think that's yard dependent. So an unkept yard that is not well maintained, you should definitely trim before you mow. And that is because the clippings that this thing will produce, you can throw into the yard, and then the mower can run it over and mulch it up, and it looks clean and tidy. Now, if it's a well-maintained yard, I would do the opposite. I would mow first and then trim. Once you mow to whatever grass length that you want, whether it's 3 inches, 4 inches, depending on the grass type, well then now you can grab your trimmer and match it the grass length as best as possible for a nice and clean look. To prevent you from doing double the work, it's extremely important to understand the rotation of your trimmer's head. Now, the reason that's super important is because it ultimately dictates where the trimmings land. So there's clockwise and then there's counterclockwise. On most of these guards, it will tell you which way the head goes, and in this specific model, it goes counterclockwise. So if you got counterclockwise, well then the discharge is going to be to the left-hand side. If you got clockwise, then it's going to be to the right-hand side. Now, the reason that's important is because as you are doing the perimeter, you are not trying to do double the work. You want to ensure that your clippings are going into the grass, into the yard, off the driveway, and off the garden beds. To maximize efficiency, another great tip is really to understand the length in which your trimmer can cut. Now, you can measure from, the center of your head to the outermost edge of your guard, and if you don't have a guard, then however long that your string is, fully extended. Now, that's important is because it will tell you where your lawnmower needs to be when it's cutting its path. So all you would have to do is get a measuring tape and measure from the furthest edge to the center of the head, and it's about 8 inches. So times that by 2, this would create a 16-inch cut if it's fully length. And then from there, whether it's against houses or buildings or fences, you know how close you need to get with your lawnmower. Another tip that a lot of people don't think about is really the striking distance of the line itself. So really the last inch or so of the line is where you want your weeds to be. And that is because as it's extended, that's where the largest or the highest striking force is. However, if it's extremely thick brush and you are, pushing it past that 1.5 inches, well, this will eventually wrap around itself and then effectively making it useless. The last thing that you need to kind of understand is the operating environment. Not everything needs a weed whacker, and some things only need a weed whacker for a small amount of time. Now, if you look at behind me, this field doesn't really need any weed whacking, minus against maybe some of those poles if that's in the contract, or if you're just trying to make it nice. But outside of that, there is no weed whacking on a property that looks something like this. Now in those tight spots, or in those where it has like the medians, or it has a curb to get somewhere where, getting a actual riding lawnmower is not an option, well then your weed eater is 100% the tool that you need to use. And that wraps us up. And I really appreciate you taking your time and watching this video. Maybe you learned something. It might have got a little bit into the weeds, no pun intended. But if you liked it, please consider subscribing, liking the video, or sharing with your friends. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.